Hi, Betty. Good to see you. It's good to catch up with you. And I think it's a good idea that we got together. We haven't gotten together and talked in a while and shared our brains. How have you been?
I've been fantastic. How have you been, my beautiful?
I've been really well. I've been well, you know, learning a new way to live and finding my way, just like us all, right?
Well, I've been watching your journey and you are definitely walking it with grace. And it's been such an honor to watch you grow and bloom and heal and expand. And it's just been, you know, and your yoga.
Oh, thank you. I think I've been Betty, if you don't know Betty, she's an astrologer out of New York, and she's really excellent. I've been going to her for, I don't know, 3 to 4 years now, I think. And especially
a few.
Yeah. And especially in this last year, I leaned on her a little bit more than normal, and she's kind of helped me navigate through some things, transitions easier with a little bit more foresight and knowledge into your path. So highly recommended. And we thought it'd be fun to get together and talk about the different signs. I don't know about everyone else, but I know a lot about my own sign. But when other people tell me, oh, I'm a Taurus, I'm a Leo, I'm a Gemini, I'm an Aries, I don't exactly know what all that entails, or, what attributes each sign has, or how we might be vibing together. So could you maybe enlighten us on the different signs?
I would love it. And you know what, Chris, I think that's a fantastic idea, especially nowadays where everything's so heavy, right? We're going through a changing of the ages. So history would point to it's a messy time, right? And I think no matter what side of the coin you're on, it's a messy time. So I feel that most of it's all fear-based. I think everything is basically fear-based and some ignorance, and that's not to insult anybody. I'm not trying to at all, but that's what the flavor I wanted to bring in here, and maybe just do like a lighter, fun topic on the signs. Like I've been doing this my whole life, but now with the social media and all stuff, so I'm in some groups like astrology groups, and everybody's at different levels, and that's beautiful. But what I noticed is there's a lot of like hating on signs. And I always think it's so silly, because that's why I wanted to kind of explain it. There's a wheel. We all have all 12, but it's a circle with a pie with 12 slices. Starts here. The natural ruler is Aries. So we're going to start by talking about Aries, and then I'm going to bring it all the way around. Okay, so in your chart, you could have a different sign on the horizon, which would be the rising, the ascendant. Okay, you could have a different sign, but no matter what you've got going on, even if you have all of your planets in one sign, you still have all of these lessons to learn, because the wheel, the circle, like the serpent eating its tail, the circle goes through, it's just a completion and evolution. So we want to stand in the middle of the circle. And, and like hermetics. This is kind of like the principle I want to put into this, as far as like, and I don't know if we'll go this deep into, but I'm just going to give one example, like Aries and Libra. They're opposing signs, like you're Pisces. So, Virgo is the opposite sign, correct? I'd like to introduce a thought, a perspective, instead of looking at them at two different things. They're actually the same exact thing to one extreme, like hot and cold. It's the same thing. It's just two different extremes. Love and hate. It's the same thing, two different extremes. If you love me or you hate me, regardless, you're feeling pretty strong, right, about me or anybody. So, but the opposite would be apathy. I don't feel anything. You see what I mean? So Aries, we're going to start. I'm just going to start with Aries. But when understand, like Aries and Libra, Aries is I am, that's its job, and Libra is we are. So if you have two, if you're out of balance, you want the prescription to be the other sign. Well, so we're just gonna go back and start at the beginning. So Aries starts in the natural zodiac, fire, birth, spark. So I'm just talking about the energy of Aries, not if you have your sun, your moon, your Mars, or just the actual energy. Energy isn't good or bad, it's neutral. If you have a torch, are you going to light up the room, or are you going to burn the house down? It's the intention behind the energy, right? So the energy of Aries is forceful. It has to be. Picture like the crocus in the spring, that delicate little flower coming out of the hard frozen earth. So it would have to be that way, right? So the function of Aries in the first house is I am. So think of it as a journey of a soul. You're born. I am. Here I am. Well, this is exciting. Look at me. Woo! You know, I'm so excited. So it's supposed to be forceful. It's supposed to be independent. It's supposed to be self-perpetuating, not selfish. Okay, there's shadow sides and, you know, to everything. You know, but just the actual energy of Aries is the start. It's a birth. It's a renewing. People with a lot of Aries energy, yes, they can be erratic, you know, like irritable, but they're also youthful in the sense of like a child, you know, like they get excited about things. Okay, so it's the first sign, so it's cardinal, okay, and the ruler is Mars, and it's the first house. So Aries' job is to be, here I am. So it's an outward masculine energy. It's outward. So everything is a progression. We go outward, we go inward. So now we went outward, here I am, yay. Taurus. Well, now I need stuff. You know, here I am, but I'm going to need a roof over my head. I'm going to need food in my belly. I'm going to need, you know, and you can take this out to anything. You need transportation. You need stuff. You need it. You need stuff to sustain the I am. The I am needs a place to sleep. So that's Taurus energy. So it's here I am, but let's take it deeper. Now, Taurus, yes, Taurus rules the earth, earthy. You know, people with heavy Taurus energy are the type of people who walk around and pick fruits and eat them. They're usually very good chefs. They're just very in tune with the flow of the energy of earth. And so that's more, see how that's more of a reflective. So we go outward, now we need to bring it in and reflect. So it's also self-worth. How am I going to take care of my I am? Am I just going to eat McDonald's or fast food and drink soda pop and, you know, maybe just sleep on friends' couches? I don't care. You know, I just borrow people's clothes. You know, that maybe you need to bring more attention to that and cultivate that aspect of yourself, because it's your value. It's your, how do you value yourself? Mm-hmm. Too much negative Taurus energy could be greedy and not sharing. Like, I have $10 million and you don't have any. That's not my problem. You know, but a healthy Taurus energy wants to cultivate it and prosperous to share, to enrich. Anytime that we're in fear, whether it's jealousy or anything, it's always, we're in a fear of lack, that if you have that, that means that I can't.
Right.
So, and the universe is completely abundant. Mm-hmm. Flowers don't look at the flower next to it and go, oh, great, she got all the good petals, you know, like, now what about me? You know, there's for all of us, right? So it's like, and the prescription for too much of something is the other side of the coin, but we'll get, so now we got Taurus. So here I am, I've got my place to sleep, I've got my food, I got my, you know, my Barbie, you know, and whatever I like my crystals. So to me, I'll go and I buy crystals or stuff like that. You know what? Some people like shoes. I like those too. You know what I mean? It's just, right. But an over accumulation, because what it is, it's your self-worth. So you don't, yes, it's a part of it. Don't forget, there's 10 more we haven't gotten to yet. So if you just identify your self-worth with your personal belongings, that's a dangerous game to play. Mm-hmm. Houses burn down, people get rich, people lose money, and then you get back up. So whether you're rich and living in a mansion or poor and just kind of making it as best as you can, that's not who you that's not, you know, your value comes from inside, not what I have. Right. So when that's a hard lesson sometimes for people who are on that Taurus path, because they accumulate a lot of stuff and now they feel like that makes me who I am. I am my car, I am my career, I am my house, I am my clothes, I'm, you know, those things are fleeting. Right. That you guarantee that that will change at some point. Now what? Now I'm nothing. Mm-hmm. Right? So it's important to understand, yes, value yourself and treat yourself, but don't make the mistake and think that I am my things.
Right.
So we have the outward expression and then the inward. Now, again, we go out into Gemini. Now, Gemini is one of the signs that gets a lot of hate. And so and a lot of people, and I want to understand the function of Gemini. Here I am, I have stuff. Now, what do I think about this? There's a lot of new things to think about, right? So there's some trees, there's some grass, and there's another person in the sky, and oh my God, and it's so exciting, and that squirrel just fell off the tree, and wow, and like they constantly, it's busy. It's so when people say, oh, I don't like Gemini. So you don't like ideas, you don't like communication, you don't like commerce, you don't like traveling, like small traveling, like that would be Gemini. So Gemini's function, if you think about just the energy, the function of Gemini, what it's there to do is to gather information. A lot of times people will say, now I've been doing this professionally for a long time, so I know what I'm saying. People hate on these poor Geminis, okay? And they say that. I want to talk about the lying aspect with Geminis. It's not so much. Now, I'm talking about just the energy of, not what one individual person is doing with this. The energy of Gemini is, now I remember I said Aries was cardinal. That's start. I got to start something here. Fixed is the next order. Taurus is, I got to sustain what I've started. Now, the third mutable, which would be Gemini, is, well, I need to break this down so I can do the process again. So the job of the mutable signs is to dissolve things. So here I am, I have my stuff. What do I think about it? Well, I found out all of this information that I didn't used to have, and now I feel differently and I want to change these other things, right? So so reality is mutable to them. So it's like, I'll use an example. My daughter has a Gemini moon. Okay. One day she's vegan. And she won't even be in the room with somebody who is eating chicken. Okay. And then she'll swing to the other extreme. One time she asked me to bring her my hamburger and I almost fell off my chair, and then but it's like, but in the moment they feel like, yeah, this is what I'm doing. But now I think this way. And so this is what I'm doing. So it can be frustrating for somebody who doesn't understand that kind of energy, because you just told me this.
Right.
Now 2 days later, there's this, and now I'm, like, what? You're annoying, like flaky. It could be like flaky, changeable. Like a lot of people who fall in love with people with heavy Gemini energy, they're like, it was great, and then he was just gone, because they just kind of, it's wind, it's air, it's what's over here, what's over there. You know what I mean? So that's the thought function, just ideas, not to judge them or not to discern them, just to gather them. Now we go in again, that's an outward process. Now we go in Cancer, again, cardinal, starting something. How do I feel about all this? Here I am, I got my stuff. I found out all this information. Well, how does that make me feel? So the job of Cancer is to be very, like the moon, very reflective, very inward, very illuminated, very quiet, like the tides. And so how does that make me feel? Sometimes people with heavy Cancer energy can present to the world as like crotchety or like overly offended, but if you think about the function of Cancer, they're processing everything on a very deep level. Home, like the home of the soul. That's, what I'm saying? So Cancer is feeling. And then how do I feel? Well, then when you start to feel love, you want to nurture and you want to take care of and you want to preserve and you want to keep. So now that we have all of this, so Cancers are also Cancer energy is a very beautiful energy as far as allowing other signs to be who they are. People with heavy Cancer energy, you can come over and lose your shit with them and just be like a psycho, and then leave and come back and be like, oh, I'm sorry. And they're the types of people that will say, I understand, that's just Susie being Susie. They, as much as they're sensitive and, they're also understanding of other people's sensitivity. So it's a beautiful thing. It's a nurturing, loving, preserving the mother, the moon, the goddess, so but remember all the beginning signs, they're babies. This is the Aries is the baby fire. Now each one goes around and it evolves and it grows. So now here I am, I got my stuff. I know what I think. I know how I feel. Leo. Sun, 5th house, creation. Now I want to do a little dance and I want you to watch it. I'm going to sing you a song about it, or I'm going to write you a poem, or, but it's like, I want to create from all of this. It makes me want to create. Now, it depends on what you have over here and what your experiences were. Do you want to write a sad, sloppy poem, like a tear-stained poem, or do you want to write a rock song, or do you want to do there's no wrong way to do it. There's no wrong way to do it. It's just different. It's just, this is my creation from my experiences. It's, also rules children, sun. So the sun is the spirit, fire, spirit, like it gives you, spirit is more like you say somebody's spirited.
Yeah.
Feisty, like fire. The moon is the mother, the nurturer, the soul, soulful, like a good home cooked, healthy, hearty meal, good hug, that's soulful. So they're, those are the two luminaries, very important for anybody to find out where their sun and their moon are. Okay, so now back to just Leo. So the function of Leo is to shine. The function of Leo is to be the king. Leo, at this point in the evolution, you think you're the only person in the solar system. Look at me. Look at all of this. Here I am. I got my stuff. I'm thinking, I'm feeling, I'm awesome. So they can get a bad rap, Leo energy, as being bombastic, arrogant. A lot of famous people have heavy Leo in their chart because it's look at me and love me. And, Leo done right, it's not worried about what you think about it. It's expressing to express. Right.
Like that. And it's like, oh, they're just a joy to be around in a way.
Oh, absolutely. I love Leos. But yeah. I love all of the signs. But whatever you're doing with it, it can be the low end, it can be the high end, and there's a million places in between. And sometimes we hit them all in one day, and it's complicated when it gets into a person because we got all these energies, but just the function of Leo. And it doesn't mean you have to want to be around people with these energies. Like I said, people with heavy Gemini, I got a lot of Scorpio in my chart. They're fun to go out and party with, like to go out to dinner and go dancing. But to talk to them all the time, I'd be like, oh, because I'm fixed. They're mutable. It's annoying. Oh. Not good, not bad. They probably find me super annoying. Neither one is right or wrong. It's not about right or wrong. It's a different perspective. All of these energies just have a different perspective. If we were going to look at a building, you go to the top, Krista, I'll go to the bottom. Now I'm going to tell you what I see and you tell me what you see. It's going to be different.
Right.
Is it wrong?
No.
It's not wrong. It's just different. And so, hey, maybe I don't like what you see from the top. I'm not going to go up there. But I'm not going to say you shouldn't go up there. And I hate anybody who goes up there.
Right.
You see how silly this gets? It's just silly. I don't like olives. So should I ban them from the world? Nobody can sit at the table and eat an olive in my presence? Because it's just like, that's silly. It's just not for you. Not bad or good. Now we come to Virgo. Sweet Virgos. It's a hard job, Virgo energy. Because Virgo now, because you have to remember we're on the bottom of the wheel. It's all internal. It's all about me. How do I feel about me? Right? How do I feel about who I am, what I have, what I think, what I feel, look at what I do. Virgo is right before we get to Libra, whereas we're going to bring in other people. So Virgo says, wait a minute, guys. You're a mess. Okay. And we have to clean this up because we want to make it appropriate and present. So Virgo would go back to the Gemini energy and say, this is an example to explain how Virgo cleans up Gemini. You're sitting in the house and you say to your child, your 5-year-old child, go outside and tell me the temperature, tell me the weather. Do I need a coat? Is it raining? Whatever. So you tell them to go outside. This is Gemini energy. Virgo says, go outside. I need to prepare, right? I need to prepare and get organized for my day. So I need this information. This is the only information I need currently. So the kid comes out and says, well, Susie, the neighbor, is mowing her lawn, and there's a blue butterfly, 3 cars drove by, and blah, 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 and the flowers blooming, whatever. They're going to give you all of this information. And, oh, by the way, it's sunny and nice out. So Virgo's job is to say, I don't care about that. I don't need that. It's not necessary. It's not relevant. Wheat from the shaft. So discernment, bringing it down to the essential, you know, like, think about it too. Everything's in full bloom in Leo season in the middle of the summer in August, full bloom, right? And so it's just shining. Its job is to just be beautiful, right? All right. And now, but what's the job of when it comes into Virgo season? Well, now we got to go get the fruit. We got to pick the cotton. We got to pick, and then we have to, you have to pick it off the vine. Somebody's got to do the work, right? Somebody's got to clean it up and present it and organize it. That's the function of Virgo. Virgo people with heavy Virgo, nurses. These are the people that can do the stuff that people don't want. They can get in there and clean it up. They are service, to be of service, accounting, nursing, like that kind of thing. It also rules the 6th house, which is, everything is a lot, but just basically the 6th house, you would look to the person's 6th house to see their health. And you would also look to the 6th house to see their daily routine. Do you see how that blends together? Because your daily routine is ultimately your health. Not one day. So one day you don't do your yoga, maybe drink some wine and, whatever. Okay, I would do the one day. That's not going to really affect the big picture if I do good all the other times, right? You know what I'm saying? So Virgo is routine, it's function, it's daily work. And so the shadow side of that is they can get too caught up in the details and be like petty or pain in the, like nitpicky. So the opposite, if you get into that kind of energy, you want to go into the Pisces energy, which is letting everything go, right? So the job of Virgo is to clean everything up, make it relevant. What don't we need? Because now we're going to be presenting. Just like if you were coming over, I would have done more, I'm not present, when you're not presenting, hey, I don't have makeup on, maybe I, don't wear a bra, it's different than when you're presenting, you're going to polish.
Right.
You're going to polish it. So now we get to Libra. Libra is other people. So what do you think of me? And, so what do you think of all of this? And what do I think about you? And now you're getting input, but it's, when you think about relationships, it's superficial, not meaning in a negative way. Libra is ideas. It's the idea. It's more polite. Like you can have different people in your life. Like somebody, you could be in a terrible, horrible mood. Like, I know I'll do this. Like, I could be in a terrible, horrible mood, and Billy will call me, and I'll be like, blah, 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 blah.
Right. And it's not them. It's just, yeah.
But I'm going to blah, blah, blah on him. Okay. But then somebody else will call me, like somebody who I'm working with or setting up something or whatever. I'm going to be, hello. Right. So that's Libra is, hey, let's make it social. Let's make it nice. Let's make it like, and it's the second sign that has to do with Venus. The first with Taurus, Venus is earth stuff, my possessions. This time it's, what do I like in other people? People with heavy Libra energy can sometimes lack a sense of identity. Whereas I derive my truth from you.
Right.
which can be dangerous because that's not your truth.
Right.
There's, we hold up mirrors, we help, we support, we got, and but if you give away your power to your relationships, you're always going to be like at the mercy of. Again, seeing how Venus would bring what we said about Taurus. If you give away your power to your items, it's like building a house on sand, right? Because it inevitably is going to change.
Right.
Same thing with relationships. They change, they evolve. We know that, right? And it's not even like it's no fault. It's just, so you have to be able to come back to, I am me, whoever I am. And this is me with you. There's a different version of us with almost everybody we know. Is that false or phony or fake? No, it's just you light this up in me, I light this up, and this is where we come together. You have people you come together for deeper purposes, and then there's people who you go to just dance with, or to just like call it because you giggle, you want to know a good facialist or something. You call it. They all have value. There's value and worth in all of these relationships. So is it bad or good? It's the judgment. When we get into judgment, bad and good, we get into trouble, right? Because what is good or bad? I know somebody who bought a used car, drove the car for a year and a half, had a car accident. They're fine. Everybody's okay. Car was totaled. Well, that's bad, right? That's so bad. Oh, okay. Well, 2 months later, the insurance company actually paid them out $3,000 more than they actually paid for the car. So now you got to drive a car for a year and a half, and you got $3,000 on top of what you already paid to go buy a better car.
Right.
Is that good? Well, let's see. You could drive that car off a cliff. That's not good. What I'm saying is we all want to judge. We want to put a judgment on immediately, good or bad. Let's see whatever it is, whatever it turns out to be. So Libra, like I said, Libra is merging. It's other people. It's relationships. But it's when we hit Scorpio. Now remember again, Libra is cardinal. When we talked about Virgo, Virgo is mutable. So again, it's their job to dissolve.
Okay.
People, and you're Pisces, you have mutable energy. Okay, so that's what sometimes it's hard for them to make a decision. Well, I like this and I like that. Well, I liked this then, but I don't like it now. No, I don't want it. I don't, and that's okay. That's the function of that energy. It's important and relevant, just like all of them. They're all part of it. So now that's just relationships. Like I said, it's a little bit more polite of a relationship in the Libra. Starting my interaction with others. So now we're starting. So it's a little, when you first meet somebody, you always put your best foot forward, right? So now we go to Scorpio. Fixed. Water. Scorpio relationships are not light and fluffy or polite. They're real, they're raw. They can often be painful, but that's intimacy. They're intimacy. That's transformation. That's where we merge. So it's like Libra is like, think of Libra energy as like the first 6 months, maybe a year of a relationship, as opposed to 25 years in where I know your shit, you know mine, let's just deal with it. Like that kind of, there's looking into somebody all the way, warts and all, we all have them. It's allowing you into my darkness and me into yours. And we can't do that properly if we haven't already done it for ourselves. A lot of people struggle. Scorpio is another energy that people hate on big time. Gemini and Scorpio seem to get, and Capricorns get it too. The function of Scorpio is transformation. It's merging. It's getting beneath. It's truth. It's secrets. It's hidden. It's the darkness. Darkness isn't bad. It's the feminine. It's the womb. Everything springs from it. But again, because it's unfamiliar, nobody really can pin it down. We're afraid of it, judge it, fearful, label it bad, right? Darkness is bad. That's what people say, right?
Mhm.
You don't think that, right?
No.
No,
Yeah.
because you're doing your chart fantastic. And I've watched you, and from being with you, and it's a grace. It's taking it and bringing grace into the energy and going with it. So that's what Scorpio's job is, to kind of hold on to yourself while you dissolve. That's why this symbol can be the phoenix rising from the ashes. Ego death, because we have all this stuff up until we get to Libra, it's all us. So our ego is pretty high, right? Because we're pretty impressed with ourselves. We're here with our stuff, our thoughts, our feelings, we're dancing and singing, and we cleaned it all up. So we're pretty impressed with ourselves. Now I get over here and you go, well, really? Doesn't even rhyme, your poem. Oh, I don't like it.
Right.
Oh. Well, now that's the first time you say, what? Really? Oh. So that's when we go into kind of like looking at everything we've built and what needs to die to be reborn. So it's the merging, it's the transformation. Scorpio holds in it the greatest seed of potential. It can be, in my opinion, from doing it, it's the energy that can be the lowest of the low, like really awful, destructive energy. But whatever it holds, you have to remember there's this side is like a pendulum. So what's the other side of that? It holds in it, Scorpio energy holds in it the potential to transform, to release your ego and join with the divine. It's about death, sex, taxes, like all these hidden, deep, dark things that you're not getting away from, So, and people with a lot of Scorpio energy remind the rest of the world that this exists, and the people usually don't like that, don't want to do that. It's not fun. So now in relationships, I've died, I've merged, and also too, so now it's my money, my resources, your money, your resources. Now it's emerging. See, it's how it's all about emerging. Okay, so now we go into Sagittarius, the 9th house, which is big ideas. You're Sag rising.
See, I don't even know. This is like
You should know that. You're Sag, but that's see how you travel, how you go abroad, how you just like you love to just take off and go. Like, look at all those beautiful postings in the videos you've been doing. That's you leaning on your Sag energy. Expansion. What is everybody else doing? Wow, isn't that amazing? I'm looking at what you're doing, and it's making me understand the ideas that I gathered in Gemini on a deeper level. Sagittarius is so Gemini would be reading a book about a war-torn country and the people who live there. Sagittarius energy is about sitting there, living with them, walking amongst them, speaking with them, because it's, I think, in Gemini, and I understand. And so it's, and so we've had to release our judgments in Scorpio into the darkness, realizing we all got them. Let's get over it. And let's see what everybody else is doing now. What are you doing with all your stuff? And, hey, I don't like that, or I like that, or, you know what I mean? But people get afraid if it's different, if it's a different perspective. If you think differently, then they feel like it takes away from them and invalidate, just like, again, the flowers, there's plenty of petals, ladies, calm down. Everybody gets what they need to get. So Sagittarius is about expansion, again, the third fire, and mutable. It wants to break down all that came before for a rebirth. So now I understand and I seek, this can be the guru, but the shadow side of Sagittarius is to stop seeking knowledge and believe I've found it. I found it, this is it. This is it. Don't tell me that is not it, or you got something else, or there's more out there, because this is it. And if you don't think this is it, you're wrong. Right. That's the shadow side of Sagittarius, right? Is to be that arrogant, bombastic. I know all. I know what's good for you. And, and anything that's wrong in your life is only because you're not listening to what I'm telling you to do. That's the negative side. The bright side is expansive and fun and jovial and non-judgmental and all-encompassing and exciting, It's beautiful. So all of the signs are only energy. It's little energy vortexes that the planets go through. So I'm not, you could go somewhere like, maybe it's not your genre, but you go to like a rock concert. Okay. And maybe I don't normally want to go to a rock concert, but now I'm at the rock concert. So I'm going to take on that flavor a little. I'm going to maybe be a little edgy, wear some heavy makeup and, be like, whoa, and so I'm not that energy, but I'm passing through that.
And I tap into it.
Well, that's because when the planets pass through the energy, they take on the flavor of. So somebody, like the sun passing through Aries will accommodate, it will acclimate because it vibes, but say Libra, sun sign, the sun passing through Libra, it's a little harder on that individual because they have to derive their sense of self from their sun. And if my sense of self is hinging on you, it's going to be a little more complicated.
Well, yeah.
So we got Sagittarius. So now see the progression here. It's a progression of a soul. So now I've done all of these things. I've explored, and now I want to do something to leave my mark. Now with everything that's come before this, now I want to go do my work. So for you, how you're with the cooking, the chef, and the yoga, the lifestyle that you embody, you had to go through your journey to get to the place where now, Capricorn, it starts the winter. It's the elder. It's another cardinal. So we're starting something. What are we starting? We're starting our foundation in the world. We're starting our structure. This is what I give of myself to, and it's also security. What do we do when we work? Well, we get money. So we need that and we deserve that. Everybody needs money to pay for their Taurus stuff, right? And Capricorn's what brings the money. So you see, you work and that your structure, that's what I give to the community from all that I am. That is of value and worth, and I get rewarded for it. So they're achievers. They can get, those are the workaholics. Gerald, Capricorn, worker, right? Yep. Work. Because, and is that bad or good or wrong or right? No, it's Capricorn energy functioning as Capricorn energy.
Right. I love Capricorn energy.
Oh, I love Capricorn energy. So beautiful. Done right. Oh, I love, and they have such a wit about them, like a dry wit. Reliable, responsible, pragmatic, functional. That's the energy of Capricorn. That's its job. That's what it's there to do. So think about sometimes like Virgos and Capricorns, it must be hard to be the one who has to be responsible and clean up and, be the driver. Right. That's their energy. Now, a negative Capricorn could be too into all of that, like, again, identifying with my career, because sometimes that changes and right. And so, and it can be that, or overworking, or just any earth sign runs the risk of scorched earth, dried out, and bitter, cranky, crotchety, like, like the bones. So there's a difference between a bitter old person and a wise elder. Right. Bitter old person, you want to run the hell away from. I want to hear your problems, okay? I got this problem, my doctor, my aunt. An elder, you want to sit at their feet until they kick you out.
Right, yeah.
The wisdom that they've gained in this journey through, now they're ready to impart it. Now, we come to Aquarius, which is where your moon is. Now, Aquarius is air, okay, but I view, and I'm not the only one, it's more outer space, because everything is evolving, right? So we start with Gemini, and then we move into Libra, and then we move in, now each one is evolving. Aquarius is outer space, because Aquarius's function is to think of the collective. In Gemini, I'm just thinking about myself and whatever I'm interested in. Libra, I'm thinking about us and what we should do together and what you like, blah, blah, blah. In Aquarius now, I'm going to take it and I'm going to make this global. Let's start thinking about how my actions affect somebody in Cambodia. Let's start thinking, you know, and so let's start thinking about, you know, so you see how now Capricorn is the 10th, the second house, which would be this is what do I do now with all of these things that came before? What do I do now to give to the collective for the better of? So it's like, yes, you're working in Capricorn, but you're more working for your own self. It's not selfish. It's, you know, this is my job. I go to my work and I worry about my bills and I pay my mortgage, right? I mean, we all have to do that. Nobody else, unless somebody else wants to do it, they can certainly come over and do it. But, you know? So that's the function of. Now, Aquarius is, hey, let's think about what can I do? What can I give of myself for the betterment of, and only for the betterment of, because Aquarius understands, it's starting to understand whatever I do to you, I do to myself. You know, and it's a progression. You have to get there. It's not that anything is wrong or bad or lying or stupid or sneaky. It is functioning as it should. It's functioning as it must, right? So we get to Aquarius. Now, the shadow side of Aquarius can be kind of detached. Nerves. Think of the nervous system when you think of Aquarius. So it could get frayed out because it's a lot to think about, right? I got to think about throwing my coffee grinds out and affecting somebody over there. You know, it's a lot. It's overwhelming, right? And it can be, you know, and when you're connected to outer space, well, that's a lot of wisdom and download because you're connected with the heavens. It's important for people with heavy Aquarius energy to ground, or else they can feel like frayed, like frazzled. So then it can't function properly. It's like electricity, but it needs to be harnessed, or else it's just zap, zap, zapping, right?
Right.
So that the beautiful thing about Aquarius energy is the bird's eye view, going up to outer space and looking down. It's detached. It detaches. That's its job. See, in Scorpio, this is how I explain the difference between Scorpio and Aquarius energy, because they're both fixed signs, but they're doing something different. A Scorpio energy is raw, real. Picture being like naked in the jungle, in the dark and alone. All of your senses are going to be, and it's real and it's intense, right? That's energy of Scorpio. I need to feel this deeply, or else I just don't want anything to do with this. I need to fit. Now, Aquarius says, well, and there's a wisdom to be gained from that perspective, from being in the trenches. There's a wisdom there. Aquarius says, let's let go of all of those messy emotions and take myself out of it, detach and look from a bird's eye view without any judgment or perception. Now, that's not easy to do. We all kind of struggle, you know, everybody has Aquarius somewhere in their chart. Everybody has Scorpio somewhere in their chart, you know? And so the job of the Aquarian energy is to look at it, and like, again, Libra is the judge. It's harmonious. Let's balance. Let's make it fair. We have to be fair to everybody. That's Libra. Let's be fair, because there's all of us now. It can't just be what you want. It has to be fair. So it's like, let's be fair in our interactions. Aquarius wants to be fair in its processing and fair in its assessments, observations. And to be fair, you have to not be attached, right? So that's Aquarius. That's the job of Aquarius, is to be detached. What the negative side is to be just kind of like robotic, remove yourself, throw yourself into your books and not have like interaction with other people and just get very heady thoughts. Because now you would take the thoughts and bring them into the heart to make them right. Okay, so now we come to Pisces. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful Pisces. Pisces is a garbage compactor of this whole thing. So now we have to dissolve all of this into a spiritual dimension. Pisces is the energy of realizing all of this that was mine. There's no separate between mine and yours. There's no separate between me and the divine. I am the divine. You are the divine. We are the divine. So it's very foggy and blurry. See, in Virgo, the other side, it's very straight lines. This is a fact. This isn't. Pisces says, who says that? Who knows? What's a fact? There are no facts. Pisces people with a lot of Pisces energy will be like, yes, I'm coming, we're doing this, and I'll tell you this for 6 months, and then one day they'll just be like, oh, I'm going to be doing this that week, and you'll be like, I thought we were doing this. Well, not anymore. I'm doing this now. And it's just like, that's the type of energy that it is. Its job is to dissolve. The ruler is Neptune, the 12th house. That's spirituality. That's the occult. It's transcending now. So now I've done all of this. I've achieved. I've given back, and now I need to dissolve back into myself. And so it's, the beauty of it is Pisces are loving. They're nurturing. Pisces energy sees the soul in all. Pisces can get themselves into trouble, some with heavy Pisces energy, because they see people's potential. They see their soul. All of our souls are beautiful. We're all expressions of the divine, every single person, right? So we're all gorgeous, absolutely precious and perfect. But we're also covered in shit. Right. And so it's like this. So so a Pisces looks at somebody like who's done up in their best with their hair professionally done and their makeup to a T. They're at their perfect body weight, at their perfect age, and Pisces sees you there. And it doesn't realize that, well, I haven't taken a shower in a week or shaved my legs, my clothes stink. You know what I'm saying? Like they go, well, that's okay because you could do this.
Right.
You have the capacity for this. Everybody has potential. Big deal. Everybody has a butthole. So what? What are you doing with it? If Michelangelo never picked up that paintbrush,
right?
What was he? Just some drunk, right? You just whatever, just some guy, just whatever. All of us have. Everybody has the divine in them. So, what do you? I want you to ask me I want you to ask me about the signs. Pick anything you want to know. If wasn't clear, or what do you like?
I guess I'm do you have any advice? If maybe you meet someone, or maybe you have a family member, a friend, and you just want to understand their sign better. I think in general, knowing more about this will be helpful. But are there maybe signs that are more compatible with other signs than others?
Absolutely. Absolutely. But this is it's going to bring it into, yes, energies, if we're just going to keep it as the energy of the sign.
Okay, yeah. Maybe some enhance others, because for Gerald and I, he really grounded me, but then I also gave him, so we out and maybe you could be, since we all have all the different signs, maybe it is that you could be with a sign. Is that maybe well? Well,
the thing is, I happen to have the honor and privilege of knowing both of your charts. So I understand what you had there. It's not just Pisces and Capricorn energy, which is very complementary because Pisces is soft and flowing. Capricorn is think Capricorn is like earth, kind of crusty earth. Think of Taurus as real nourish, real beautiful, spring earth. Everything is fertile and luscious, right? We get to it, and in Virgo, it's still beautiful, but it's drying up, right? The things are getting a little crispy. You gotta pick, And by the time we get to Capricorn, the earth is old. It's winter. It's dry. It's barren. It needs to create. So signs that work well, naturally, harmoniously together would be the trines. So any element, fire, Aries, Sag, Leo, trine. Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo, earth, trine. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius, air, trine. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces, water, trine. So, but given that said, Trines, I'm going to explain it to this way because I want to talk about sextiles. So a sextile would mean you've got Pisces with sextile Taurus. So it's earth, it's the feminine, right? So feminine and masculine, fire and air are masculine, just means I go outward. The energy goes outward. And earth and water are feminine, which means it's a receptive. It's more of an inward process. So Gerald had his Venus on your moon. There was, and there's a lot of, and I'm not telling anybody your business, but I'm saying is that you guys had these deep connections. It wasn't just, oh, this or that. There were connections that ran through with any, you know, you guys were embodying the divine masculine and divine feminine. That's the way that I see it. It's not, you know, if that's just how I see it. You know, I believe you're, whatever word people want to ascribe to it, you were very high level soulmates who had a, and so you were designed to do that. And it was easy. You had a love of each other, natural understanding before you probably even got to know him. I would think there was a natural draw and understand and a comfort,
Right.
like a peaceful comfort. So now I'm going off track, but to answer your question, so the trines, yes, they work well together, but think of it like this. A trine is like a very old couple who've been together for 60 years. They've been through the shit, the kids, the problems, the blah, 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 the tramp down the block. They've been through it all. And they're on the other side of it and they're comfortable, right? It's trine energy is sitting on the porch with a glass of lemonade rocking.
Right.
It's incredibly comfortable. Easy. Not a lot gets done though. It's the sextiles. So if you're an Aries, Aquarius, and Gemini with sextiles. So you see what I mean? A Cancer, Taurus, and Virgo with sextile. That's more stimulating. That's like two really close friends who get together and go to Las Vegas.
Okay.
It's exciting. It's infused with excitement. It's because it's not, it's a little, it's similar, but different. So it's like, what are you doing? I'm doing this. You want to do this together? Oh my God, this is fun. Let's do this. So it's kind of like, it's, you know, it's fun. It's action oriented. It's stimulating. It's more stimulating. Now, given that said, the squares, these are challenging. Let's use the fixed signs to just illustrate this, kind of what I just said about Scorpio and Aquarius. They're both fixed signs. So they're both doing something similar, but in different. Scorpio wants to dive into the emotions and that kind of thing. Aquarius needs to get above all of that. Is that bad? Is this bad? No, it is a function of. You know, it's like saying, well, planting seeds are bad, but harvesting them is good.
Right.
How do you do that? You gotta get there. So squares can be challenging. However, this is where I want to invite people, because when we reject something, we're cutting it's by saying, I hate Gemini, I hate Virgos, Aries make me sick. That's like saying, I hate my pinky toe, my elbow's annoying. You know, it's part of you. There's a part of you there that you're cutting yourself off from. You know, that's like I said, would I go hang out with heavy air people constantly all of the time? No, I would feel like I drank too much coffee, you know? Right. And would they want to be around me? No, they'd probably find me like kind of heavy and annoying and like a down, and they'd be like, geez, can you come up from the raft? You know, like, and that's okay, but there's no bad or good. So the squares see things completely different. Aries wants to, it's starting something. It's starting my journey. So Aries is focused on me. Cancer is starting my emotional journey. Aries and Cancer hurt each other because Cancers are like, oh, this is how I feel. I feel like this. This makes me feel like this. Aries is like, they get a very bad rap for being like mean or rude or aggressive or just selfish. They're not thinking about all of that. They're having experience to have experience. So it's not wrong. Okay. Right. And then we come to Libra, and Libra's job is to start the relationship phase. So Cancer, if I'm going to sit there in my feels all the time and be offended by everything, it's going to be really hard for me to Libra. And Capricorn too. Now I need to start this. Well, if I'm all in my feels and worried about what I want to do and my boyfriend, how am I going to work?
Right.
All different eyeballs looking at the same thing, reporting a different view. So, but what I've noticed now, look, squares are challenging in marriages because, you know, you kind of want your partner to do what you want them to do, or say, you know, like, however, in friendships and in working relationships, if you can get past yourself and two people have a loving, supportive relationship, like I feel like our relationship is, like, it's a very open and accepting, and you could have an opinion. Maybe I don't have that opinion. Not that that's ever happened with us that I've noticed, but I'm just saying, like, okay, well, that's, so what it is with the squares, it means that we're both doing kind of something similar, but in a different way. A Capricorn is going to look at something that an Aries looked at, Capricorn energy and Aries, and they're going to see two different things. So the Capricorn and the Aries can say, you're wrong, I hate you, that's stupid, that's, or you could say, wow, that's an interesting perspective. I never thought of that. I didn't see it that way. And if you have done your Taurus right, you're not worried about other people's petals. I don't have to feel threatened by your different perception. In fact, it's nourishing, and it doesn't mean I have to agree with you.
Sure.
But wow, that's a perspective that is certainly going to change, shape, evolve, expand on my perspective, because it's something you didn't see. You know, so that's why it's important to love all of the energies, because they're just a different perspective. It's a different experience with it. Is going out to a nightclub and staying out all night and getting crazy better than staying home with your family with a fire and a nourishing food? They're different. Both have value. They're both, you know, but it's different. So it's just different. So did that kind of explain it?
Yeah. And I think in general, this whole thing was very educational, and thinking about how maybe we're not just that one sign. Like, I constantly just identify as Pisces, but I don't take into account that you have 12 other signs and other aspects of your chart, the moon, or,
you have a lot of Aquarius.
And so it's I think in general, for people to get a natal chart reading is you know, very educational, and I definitely recommend with you.
Oh, I love you so much, but I want to say this, it is absolutely functional, because in Ayurveda, all the Vedas, so there's the yoga, which you're the expert on. There's the Ayurveda, which is the herbs and the food and the kind of like the balancing, and then astrology, but they all work together. Like the Ayurveda is for the garden, for the body. The yoga,
and it is like earth and air and fire, and, you know, and those kind of
yeah, absolutely. And the yoga works they all work in tandem together. The yoga keeps the channels open, the spirit to connect, and also keep the body firm and flexible. We need to be flexible, because if we're rigid, what's going to happen? What happens to rigid?
Yeah,
out of change. The one thing you can always know for certain is there's always going to be change. Things change. So, you know, being more fluid and you know, but what the heck were we saying? What were we just talking about?
Like our own charts and the different signs.
Okay, so I'm taking classes. I'm in a part, but I'm very baby. But what I'm learning, you ever hear of doshas? You know how people want to say they're dosha in like Ayurveda? There's a lot of ways to do that. You could take a quiz. They could look at your tongue. They could track your movements, you know, and ask a lot of questions and stuff, like feel your pulse and everything. But if you want to do it directly, you want to know without a shadow of a doubt, you look at the birth chart, it's all there. Kapha energy is is earth and water.
Right.
You know, fire is pitta, and and air is the vata. Okay, so if you have, and a beautiful example of this is something like, I'll just use an example for illustration. In my life, Like, I don't like olives. I don't like certain, like, I don't like sour. I don't like, that's just not something I possess in me. But I've noticed not all of them. It's not exclusive. It's not exclusive, but very many of the people I've done like the hard hang with, and I'm talking lovers, I'm talking just people that I really connect with and I like to be around, like I'm comfortable with them. They all love olives. They all, like, if we were going to eat a chicken wing, I'd eat the drumstick and they'd eat the other one, like very different. So they have a lot of the vata. I don't, I mean, have a little, but I'm more kapha pitta, the fire.
Kind of or complement your own by breeding that in.
We gravitate towards, so somebody has something, and that's the same with elements, like somebody who has a lot of earth in their chart and water, I'd say go get yourself an air sign fire friend, you know, to bring this up, because if we're lacking in it and you come along, like if I'm lacking ice cubes, you come to my party with ice cubes. Now we're, you know, it's a, and
you want to ask friends in a way too, like, what sign are you? Because we're super vibing, or, you know, like, like it's a curiosity, like maybe there's a, you know, a more profound reason behind it with our stars.
Absolutely. And it's we look for, like, think of this I thought was fascinating. Look, like aloe, the plant aloe. Think of like aloe. If you cut it up, it's juicy, it's wet, it's gooey, right? It's but where does it grow? It grows in the desert. So it has a lot of vata and it has a lot of air and earth and dry and fire, but it doesn't have any wet. So what did aloe have to do to survive? It had to cultivate that inside of itself.
Oh, it's a beautiful example. Yeah.
So, but you see what I mean? So it's like we're all incredibly amazing. You don't have to, we all have everything we need inside of us. We're just leaning. It's like a seesaw. Somebody who has like a stellium in one sign, it's very hard for that person to see from a different perspective. People who have like a loosey-goosey chart and they have good element coverage, they're a little more accepting, and you know, but people who have like just all means I'm only looking from this way.
Sure.
And when you tell me that, I feel like threatened. We don't have to be threatened by it. It's just like using Virgo to the gem. It's just information. It's our job to Virgo that. It's our job. Yeah, there's a lot of information. You get information that you don't want every day. You walk out of the house, you get the signs flash and this and that. I don't care. You know, I'm just trying to get myself, you know, I'm trying to go get some oat milk. I'm just trying to get to the store and get my oat milk. I don't, you know, but there's a lot of things that you're going to perceive along that journey, right? So the Virgo job is to be like, get the milk and go home. Don't go chasing after the fire truck and see where they're going and end up at the mall getting a facial, you know, like it's the job. So sometimes people who have a lot of the energy of some of the harder, think of these functions. So it's not easy, right? It can't be easy to have to do all of that stuff.
Oh yeah, no, that makes sense.
So if you find yourself, for anybody who finds themselves in any condition, you want to remember the wheel, the goal. Now, hey, I could be wrong. I don't know. This is from my experience and my studies and the job is to get into the middle of the wheel. And it's the same thing I'm learning in Ayurveda. There's the medicine wheels, the astrology wheel, the, why do I always forget that? The Stonehenge, those circles, those that see from the beginning of time, right? Started with a circle. And in the beginning is the creation, the void. And then we go from the void out into all these expressions. Now, to get out of this earth school, our job is to find the middle balance and back into the circle. So
tablets, he talks about like moving in circles to get out. So it's interesting, another correlation.
What do you mean? Are you talking about like when they say if you're being chased that you got to run in circles instead of?
Yeah, talking more about like when you leave your body, like turn through circular motion rather than through, you know, angle. But it was interesting. It's also through the circles.
Everything is a circle. Our cells, our solar system, everything goes around, and it take it from the macro to the micro. Our bodies function just like the universe. because we are the universe.
That's
And
cool.
but it's not, but you see, it's truth. I love to look at like different kind of scientists, like Bruce Lipton, for an example. Like, he was such an atheist and he didn't believe in any of that. And he was so immersed in science for over 30 years that he had to walk away and say, I can't not believe that there's a greater design, that there's an intelligence in the design. Is that an old man in the sky? I don't think so. You know, that's just what I don't think. But there's definitely a source, a creator that runs through absolutely everything.
Yeah.
So, right? So the circle is to get back into the middle. So if you find yourself with too much Taurus, and I'm not hating, I love all of them. They're all precious and beautiful and exactly the way they should be. They're all exactly, but so too much would be stingy. Like, I don't want to share. I don't want to give you this. I don't want you to come to my house and touch my stuff. You're disgusting. And, you know, so what is that going to do? So you're going to alienate yourself with, and then your stuff can't love you, talk to you, give you a drive to the airport. I mean, you know, I mean, what I'm saying, it can't nurture you, enrich you, make you laugh, hold you, you know, make love to you. None of this can happen. So if you find yourself being too, you want to go to the opposite. So Scorpio can sometimes become consumed with outward, because you remember the first relationship, Libra, it's kind of like it's the idea of,
Right.
I'm going to get myself a boyfriend. He's cute. He's my boyfriend. I love my boyfriend.
Mhm.
I love my boyfriend because I want a boyfriend. And
Right.
he sat down. Scorpio is, oh, there's something special about you. You know, like you and Gerald's relationship was Scorpio. It was deep. It was complete. It wasn't just like, oh, I mean, we've all had Libra. I was married to a Libra. You could be married for 40 years and still only be at the Libra pace.
Mm.
It's not the real merging. You know what I mean? So if you're too into yourself and too stingy, you want to lean more towards Scorpio as ours, combining, merging, and, you know, too much Virgo, too much bean counting and petty. And, you know, the people with heavy Virgo energy can be like, you owe me 3 cents.
Right.
Like, really?
Okay.
Yeah, but they can't help it. And it's not so much about the 3 pennies. It's the, they're like trying to do a balance sheet.
Okay. Yeah.
So if you got too much of that energy, you want to lean into Pisces, where, hey, 3 cents, $3, hey, whatever, I don't care. What do you want to do? You want to lay out? You want to sing? You read some poetry? You know, it's beautiful. It's more fun. It's you know, it's just, let's just go where the day it's like water. You gotta remember, it's like foggy water. It's ether. Remember, I said that Aquarius is out of space, but Pisces is ether. That's for another conversation. I know you have somewhere to go, but nobody talks to us about ether, right?
Right. Right.
Because if they did, we'd all be a lot more powerful.
Mm-hmm.
Look at somebody like you, Pisces sun, Aquarius moon. That can be sometimes hard to manage inside with your emotions and your feelings and balancing that. But look, that's the personal expression and the intent behind it. But look what you came equipped with. Transcendental consciousness, Pisces, goes in and out of dimensions, in and out of worlds. That's its job. It's half in, half out. That's where they are. That's their job. That's the function of Pisces energy. There's a lot of wisdom to be gotten by going back and forth. And then the Aquarius, how you process, the moon is how we would process these emotions. You're able to sometimes, I'm just saying, sometimes somebody with an Aquarius moon would get a little zoned out, a little in their head, a little too much air, a little too much electricity, like feeling like, you know, like kind of like that energy. Okay, and that's a process, it's part of it. But then the job is to raise it up and get the wisdom. So do you see how beautiful that energy is? But if we didn't have people with heavy Virgo energy, your Cancer energy, who's going to be the cooks, the moms, who's going to clean this shit up, who's going to keep the books, who's going to tell me when I need to come down from the mountain and pay my bills,
Right.
so, so there's, and then, I mean, if we ever to go further another time, there's like I said, Gerald's Venus and your moon, that's a beautiful connection. So you could have a Capricorn and an Aries married, and maybe it works because they have, the Capricorn has an Aries moon and the Aries has a Capricorn moon. There's always, what do they call that? Mitigating factors to everything, because you're not just one thing.
Right. I think that's a good takeaway from today too, is and just tuning into the other. Well, just out of curiosity, like so could you tell everyone what your sign is and your moon sign and the...
Yes, I would too, but people may not like me. No, this is what I'm saying, because this is all just energy. It's all just energy, okay? And so powerful energy often gets a bad rap. So I'm an Aries sun sign. My rising is Scorpio, and my moon is in Scorpio.
Oh, wow.
So, okay, but was it a bitch getting to that part of it? Yeah, and getting comfortable in it. But I wouldn't have it any other way now.
Yeah.
I love it. It's who I am. And we all need to look at ourselves and say, warts and all, I love it. That's what we're here to do. But I do, so like, see how you and I get along and we vibe and stuff. And we kind of, I loved you immediately from when we were just texting back and forth. I just really, really loved your energy. Okay, because you've got that soft, the Pisces, okay? And plus I have my Mars and my Aquarius. I mean, my Mars and Jupiter are in Aquarius on your moon. That's going to give us an excitement. That's going to give us an emotional connection that we like to talk about. And the Pisces softens the Aries. And the Aries kind of motivates the Pisces. You see how it is? It's like sometimes I need to soften up. Sometimes, the Aries needs to, Aries can just be burnt out. It can, too much fire, smoke, bad, too much water, not good, deteriorating. It's the mix of. So I don't have any Pisces. I have Pisces in my chart. I don't have any planets there. I love my Piscean girlfriends. They give me a perspective that I just wouldn't come to on my own. And there's value, there's wisdom.
Yeah.
So by cutting ourselves off, I guess ultimately just out of doing this is, don't cut yourself off from anything. Like I said, you don't have to love it. I don't have to go and eat olives.
Right.
But, I understand the value of that. I understand. And I think if we can understand what that energy is doing, you don't have to hate it.
Right.
I don't like Geminis because they lie. Well, no, they just have flip-floppy perceptions of reality.
Like in general, just broad generalizations in general aren't accurate because everyone's different. And we all, and maybe you're Gemini, but then you have all these other signs that make you different than the other Gemini, or, You know
what I think is funny? I see a lot of relationships between Capricorns and Geminis. They're like obsessed with each other. And sometimes Geminis and Scorpio. It's so completely different. But do you see how sometimes being in something different is exactly what we need?
I find it. My life, like Virgos, Scorpios, Capricorn, some Leo. Like I like that bold energy. I like people that are decisive. I like the attributes maybe that I lack, because then I can learn from it and see about it, and we complement one another. And I think there's value in all signs, like you said, and so it's good.
It's exactly that. I think if you were only hung out, like, and also too, like, I don't want people to feel bad, like if they have like their sun in Libra. I have my moon in Scorpio. That's a debilitated position. Okay, so I'll use myself so I don't hate on anybody else. It means that all that means is the moon, which its job is to Cancer, to nurture, to love, it has a hard time in Scorpio. which means I have to work a little harder. I have to go a little deeper to do it right.
Right.
I could be a vicious, petty, bitter, jealous, wrathful person. That would be negative Scorpio energy. Or you could do it correctly and transform. And so I wouldn't trade that moon for all the money in the world. Ask me that 20 years ago, you get a different answer.
Right.
Because I hadn't gotten to the wisdom. I hadn't gotten to the gift.
Yeah.
So, yeah. So, I mean, I know you got to go.
Yeah.
So, all right. So I think that's good, right? We think we covered it.
Yeah, I think this is fantastic. And I like that this information is really timeless, and it can be, people can come back again, myself included, can come back, watch again, learn more about the different signs, the different attributes, maybe look at your own chart and then see how you can complement or how things are aligning in this current day for you.
I recommend everybody get a natal chart. I'm not saying from me, just look at your natal chart and it will give you such a perspective and go towards what you're lacking to complement, not to take away from. If somebody has something you don't, it's not a blow to you, it's a compliment. Remember, we want to get into our Aquarius and Pisces. It's all one. We're all one. So, all right, I love you.
I love you too. It was a pleasure as always. And
wait, I'm sorry to interrupt for our closing, but something I wanted to mention. I wanted to talk about your structural, the school, because that is so incredible for taking, it's a way to physically take that. And so do you still have that up, right? And you're still doing that?
Yeah, actually, it's actually after this I have a session. So that's wonderful. gravitybodyacademy.com, and you can take the courses online. And in the future, if I, that's maybe if I get a Virgo involved, we can get the 5-week courses and actually hands-on training. But for now it's online, and we have our graduates that you can see as well. Whether you want to become one or you just want to receive the work, it's fantastic. And, apart from it being a healing hands-on modality, where you can, better align your body in the gravity field. Some people might view it from the outside looking in, oh, it's a massage, but it's actually even more profound than that. And we take pictures before and after to see the before and after changes. And they're amazing to actually see that your body can physically change in an hour and a half, and over the course of 10 different sessions, that each one has different goals. And throughout that course, a lot of the unspoken part is the energetic change that you might receive. You might receive a Kundalini awakening. As you're going to get different spacing between your vertebrae, you're going to naturally have a different energetic state. So your chakras are going to become more aligned or awakened, or you might notice one of them's blocked. And those are part of those, another spiral, another circle of energy that you can, use to your advantage in life. So it's a fantastic therapy. Gerald really is, give thanks to Gerald Clark. He's the one that brought this academy to light, and I'm simply keeping it alive and keeping him alive through it, and continuing to offer the work myself. And so are our graduates, and it's really fantastic. And you can learn more about Gerald at geraldclark77.com, and myself at artisticvegan.com, and Betty at astrologywithbetty.com.
I love you, Chris, but I want to just add one thing quickly. The work is as good as the instructor and the practitioner. And so getting work from someone like you, who embodies this and lives it and walks the talk, you don't just talk the talk where there's a lot of people out there. You embody it. You are you constantly living and growing and evolving and encompassed in your knowledge of all of it, but also your being. Healing, bringing that. I mean, I'm setting an intention right now that we get to be physically near each other. Did I lose you?
Oh, sorry. I think I've got someone here. Probably wrap it up.